You may look at the title of this video and figure, why do this? Why participate in something of this variety whenever there are many more, obviously more important albums to talk about? That may be true for a certain subsect of music, but for the genre, well, really for the art as a whole, Taylor Swift does have a very important place, for some strange fucking reason. I have to talk about Shake It Off, not because of the music video. We're not here to discuss that art form. That's not what we do. Here on the Cover Killer Nation channel, we don't talk about whether or not a music video is good or not. We talk about whether or not the music is good or not, and that's kind of why we need to be here. Because Taylor Swift has gone from making terrible country music to crossing over into creating terrible pop music. And now it's almost like she listened to a couple of indie songs, or a couple of dance indie tracks, or popular girly, girl power, whatever the fuck anthems, and decided to make one of her own, parodying a bunch of people and just having a good time, and it sucks too. Shake It Off, though, I will say, and this is going to shock a lot of people, this is going to shock many, was probably the most fun I had listening to a Taylor Swift song. All the other times before, whenever I would listen to Taylor Swift, I would have this terrible, terrible notion, this terrible feeling. It was like, not nails going across the chalkboard per se every single time, but rather, it was just this terrible notion that I was witnessing a train wreck as it was happening, with every subsequent track. Lyrically sometimes, but mainly with the musical construction and the repetition and the fact that it just felt so gummy. So sticky sweet, and almost like Justin Bieber for girls, only not somebody with an identity crisis. No, clearly Taylor is somebody who doesn't have a musical identity crisis so much as she has a crisis with who she can keep as her boyfriend. But that's a joke that's been done so many times that it probably is just something that she would, shake off. The song itself is kind of reminiscent, to me at least, in it's almost like a modern update of Mickey, with the way in which you hear the claps in the background and the overall construction of the beat. Lyrically speaking, nowhere close. Lyrically speaking, this is a song that's all about trying to kind of move past some of the things that we take way too seriously and literally just shake it off. I remember posting a video stating that people didn't like my opinion, so I shook it off. So, maybe in a way, Taylor and I have finally grown to have some common ground. And that's, I think, the reason why I'm not sitting here berating this. It's the reason why I don't think that I am sitting here just trash-talking this into the ground. Because, quite frankly, if you want to actually review Shake It Off by Taylor Swift, you can no longer do it as a country song. You can't do it as a country artist. You have to approach this as a pop artist, as if she were a pop artist, because it is no longer an as if, it is an as. She is. As a pop artist, Taylor Swift will find common ground. As a solo artist, Taylor Swift will remind some of Gwen Stefani, only not as fun. It will seem a little forced. She'll seem way too white for the gig. She may try to resemble Madonna in some regard, but it will never work because she doesn't have that sexualized of an image. And even if she were to throw on a three-piece suit and then drench it in battery acid and then paint it an off-white, she still would not be weird enough to be Lady Gaga. It's almost like with this transition, she took a look at what Katy Perry was doing and thought to herself, I can do that. I can do it better, and I can also do it cleaner. Because that's exactly what this feels like lyrically. It feels like clean, kind of polished and proper Katy Perry. There's a line that kind of borders the whole sexual innuendo idea. And the minute that I heard it, it's right in her little bridge section of the song, I thought to myself, oh, Taylor, be careful. Be careful. We're getting just a little close. We're getting a little close here. You almost went from prude to slut in like 5 seconds. I don't know how that's even possible. But it was just suggestive, folks. Don't worry. Don't worry, that image is still there. Everything's fine. Taylor Swift is still the wonderful young girl that your daughters and sons look up to. When in reality, your daughters look up to her, your sons want to fuck her. Let's be blunt, alright? Let's not fuck around. You might think they're in there praying to Jesus and saying what a nice girl Taylor Swift is, and you hope that you can marry her before you guys procreate and have a family, but really what he's doing in there is waxing his weedle while he's, watching this music video. Waxing his weedle. This is about as socially relevant right now as the Ice Bucket Challenge. It's everywhere. 24 million views already, and it's been up for only 4 days. The song itself, bleh, feels like pop trash. It feels like many other tracks that I've heard. But for Taylor, I like it. I like it for Taylor, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But I like it for Taylor because this is where I think she always needed to be, but was kind of pigeonholed into the whole country music thing. Maybe because that's where she got her start, maybe because of contractual ties, or maybe it was just because now that she's, the biggest star on earth whenever it comes to female vocalists, she now has a little bit of freedom. Maybe the remainder of her upcoming album, 1989, will actually contain a lot of country, hits, and this will kind of be like We Will Never Ever Get Back Together, which also bordered on pop music, and this will just be kind of a pop outlier. Or not. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it's a straight-up pop album. It'll still be crap, because, let's face it, a lot of bubblegum cushy pop is just bubblegum cushy crap. But it'll at least make sense for that to be where Taylor Swift is. That at least would make sense, because that's where she's kind of been teetering toward. That's really where a lot of her fan base has been, seeping in from. Because, from what I've been able to tell, a lot of the modern country crowd, they're not fond of her. I don't get that. Yeah, if you're expecting me to yell and scream about this song, think again. This is right where Taylor needs to be. I don't like the song. I think it's a piece of shit. But it at least makes sense. It at least is an evolution for an artist that I think needed to be here a long time ago. We're just going to keep it at that. If you enjoyed the track, good for you. I'm glad that you did. If you didn't, and you feel that I was way too soft, I apologize. But I can't do something like that whenever it's forced. I can't force myself to be pissed for no reason. And I can't force myself to be mad over this song because, like I said, this feels right for Taylor. So Taylor, water under the bridge. 2 confessions in 1 month. 2 rectifications of past, wrongdoings in 1 month. It's like I'm on intervention or something. This is fucking weird.